gamers, this is Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire, and I'm here to show you how to solo the 100 Torii. This is a game that is designed by Scott Caputo, and it is going to be published by Pencil First Games. This is a game that is currently on Kickstarter, so this is a Kickstarter preview, and I'm going to show off this pretty tile-laying game with a pretty vicious solo opponent. So for solo setup, in a multiplayer game in this game, everybody's going to be drawing from this pile and sort of contributing to building this larger garden where everybody's scoring and taking advantage of each other's pathways that they create. So the goal of this game is to go through some of these Torii gates and basically connect landmarks to each other in the game. So you score points for connecting landmarks, and then for all of the gates, some are red and some are blue, that you pass through in the course of getting from one landmark to another. And then of course the highest score will win. We, however, are going to be playing against Anatsu the Traveler, who knows what she's doing. She is not going to play with us. She's going to kick our butts in terms of travel, and we are setting up to play with her. So she gets this separate player board, and we're gonna stack her tiles and score for her over here, which actually is a really nice way to do the AI, because placing tiles against yourself is a more difficult prospect, but this actually creates a pretty clean AI. And then we have this draw pile, and then there is a starting tile that we're gonna start with that has a red back. So we're gonna keep the starting tile. We're gonna take 6 tiles out of this game and return them to the box. And then this is the draw pile that we and Anatsu are going to kind of fight over throughout the game. Once this pile is empty, then the game will end and we are going to score. So here's our draw pile, here's our starting tile, and we'll just sort of rearrange things as the game grows so that you can see what's going on. In addition to tiles, we're going to be working with several more little token components. So these are the landmark tokens, and these are what you earn for connecting different types of landmarks within the garden. So there are 6 types. So you're going to have the bridge, the lotus, the lantern, the stone, the shrine, and the fountain. So these are the different types, and then they also have like 5 and 10 markers for when you get larger numbers of tokens. And that is basically what Onatsu appears going to be strictly be dealing in, which gives you a hint at how tough she can be. So we also have a bunch of other fun tokens to be working with. These are character tokens, and as we go through, I'm going to explain the different types of help that you can choose to receive throughout the game. You have to pay in tokens, including either landmark tokens that you've scored or coins that you've earned, in order to get this help, but you get points for kind of making friends with these people, and you get more points if you use them more than once. In the solo game, you can only use each of these people twice for their assistance. This is an enclosure token. You do also score bonuses for having enclosed pathways that don't branch off and that are actually just sort of a circuit. So that's something that you can score for. These are larger landmark tokens, so once you start to get a lot of smaller ones, you can basically churn those in to get a 5 and then eventually a 10. And then these are tokens for being the first to get certain achievements, including 5 of each landmark and 10 of each landmark. So not gonna lie, I'm a little concerned that Onatsu the Pilgrim is going to whoop us on this. So as a result of that, I'm gonna go for the beginner level. I'm gonna take 2 coins. I'm just taking 2. Not even gonna try it. You can take fewer if you feel up to testing your mettle. This game also comes with a nice player aid that details what each of the different characters does. So a vendor lets you discard a tile and draw 2, although in the solo game that's actually different because we're drawing a different number of tiles. The samurai lets you block tile placement, which that rule will also have to change for solo because you're not blocking anyone. For a poet, you place a poet on a landmark, and that basically blocks a landmark and lets you make a longer path and score higher. The geisha lets you play 2 tiles and then score the second tile. So if you have 2 tiles, it'll work really nicely together. Or, you know, if you don't want Anatsu the Pilgrim to get a lot of tiles, the geisha is pretty cool. And then the gardener lets you place a tile on top of another tile. So if you've started one way and you want to kind of change directions in terms of the kind of path you're building, that is what the gardener is for. All right, so let's go ahead and take our very first turn. One of the things that will be nice about this game is that it has like a very distinct turn structure. So there's 4 steps each turn. You get help, You expand the garden, and that means you place a tile. You claim your achievements, so you score for the tile that you placed, and you do it right away. And then you draw more tiles. So it's got a very set turn structure, which makes it pretty easy to follow. There's some slight variations for solo that I'm going to walk you through now. So our very first step is going to be drawing 3 tiles. So we can draw a hand of 3 and see what we've got. Okay, so we have a couple of nice things to look at. We are going to have to pick one of these tiles, and we're gonna have to give the other to Onatsu the Pilgrim. And so there are some serious considerations that we have to look at before we give her anything. As you'll see, each of these tiles has some different features. So one of the features is always going to be one or more landmarks. So this tile has a bridge on it, this one has a shrine, and this one has a lantern. So by connecting any of these tiles to this main tile, which has all 6 landmarks on it, we're going to be able to score. However, you score extra if you walk in your garden through one of these Torii, which are just gates. So there's red ones and there's blue ones. And basically what happens is if you walk through a red Torii while you're scoring, then you get to collect an extra token of the same landmark that you're scoring. So if I were to put this here, then I would get to score for the shrines. So I'd get 1 token for connecting a shrine to a shrine. And then I would get a second shrine token for walking through a red Torii. If I wanted to change the orientation, I would still score 1 shrine token, but because I walked through a blue Torii instead of a red one, I get to pick an extra token of any landmark type that is not a shrine. So if you're trying to get to 5 or 10 of something, whether you're walking through a red or a blue gate affects the kinds of tokens you can pick up and therefore the types of scoring that you can accumulate. So it doesn't seem like a big deal in the early turns, but later it becomes a strategic choice. The other thing that's interesting about this game is that you only score your shortest path from landmark to landmark. So when you place a tile, you want to make sure that you place it in a way that helps you walk through as many gates as possible. All of your initial paths are going to be pretty short. But for example, if I put another shrine out further, I'm only going to be able to score from this shrine to whatever I put over here because this is the closest one. I won't go all the way back to the starting tile unless I'm scoring a different landmark, unless I've blocked this somehow, which is what some of the helpers can do. Basically, you're really working to make sure that you position yourself to score as well as you can. So that's how scoring works for us, and you score right after you place a tile. However, working with Onatsu the Pilgrim is pretty fraught because the tiles that you give her benefit her in ways that really suck for you. So the way that Onatsu's board works, we'll center it a little bit, is you are placing tiles for her based on which landmark is on the tile. If there's 2, you get to choose, but she can't have more than 4 tiles in any given column. So let's say that we gave her this bridge, then it'll come here under the bridge. And then once she hits 2 bridges, she gets a 5-point bridge landmark token. If she fills the column and gets 4, it flips over to become 10. Onatsu will also consult characters, and she gets the maximum number of character points on the character tokens that you can draw. So remember all these useful, helpful people? Onatsu can consult them too, and she gets the higher point value for them right away. So you have to be careful about what you give her when you play. Onatsu will also absolutely compete for these achievement tiles with you, so you have to watch what she's doing or else she's going to win the race. So the other thing that Onatsu does is, so we talked about her being able to consult these characters. The way that she does that is by getting to walk through different types of gates. So, for example, this one has a red Torii and a blue on it. So for each red Torii on a tile, and there can be more than one, then Onatsu is going to get a 4-point character token that corresponds to the character on these columns. So she can like eat up your ability to consult characters, which is pretty brutal. So she can also, it's for each red Torii, so she can get multiple 4-point character tokens on the same turn. That is brutal. And then for the 6th column, she gets the enclosure tokens for closing off pathways. For each blue Torii on a tile, then Onatsu is going to make you discard any 2 tokens that you have, so landmarks or coins, from your personal supply. So if you have a large landmark token, that doesn't get discarded. But if you have smaller tokens, then she can make you discard them. So you want to hit 5 as quickly as possible so you can kind of store them up in your own larger tokens. Ooh, that is brutal. So if she has both, she gets the rewards for each of the types of gate on there. But then additionally, she draws an extra tile and places it as another Onatsu tile. So if you're a beginner, which I'm just a complete beginner, good lord, you can ignore any Torii on that newly drawn tile. But if you're playing expert level, then you resolve any Torii gates on that newly drawn tile also. So she can't draw more than one additional tile per round, but if she draws a tile with more gates on it, then you have to give her the rewards for those gates. So do not give Onatsu any more gates than necessary because you will regret it. So here's our garden, and here are our 3 tiles, and I know for a fact that I do not want to give Onatsu any more than I have to, but I have a bad set of choices. So this actually really sucks. I can either take this tile and not have her drain me of extra resources, although because I want to gain some tokens, I don't want her to take them all away. At the same time, here she'll gain points and take a token, and either way I'm going to end up giving her at least 1 tile that lets her draw an extra. This one I'm definitely going to give her. The question of which of these am I going to take for myself? Oh gosh. So here's the problem. I'd really like to score, but I'm not really going to be able to. If I'd like to score the shrine and kind of set up some gates to walk through, but that's going to be a bad choice because if she takes this one, I'm going to lose my 2 coins and the 2 landmarks that I score for this guy. So I guess the best choice is for me to take this one. We're just going to have like a little short, sad lantern cut off here. Oh, I don't like that at all. But that's what we're going to do. We're just going to put this lantern here. So we go from lantern to lantern. I get 1 lantern token for that, so we'll just kind of stash it over here. And now Onatsu gets to take both of these other tiles. So now what's going to happen is Onatsu is going to take the bridge tile and she's just going to put it here. It doesn't really matter what orientation it's in because she just gets it. And then this one she's going to put under her shrine column over here. So she's going to get an enclosure token. So she gets 4 points from having that Torii there. So we'll just put Onatsu's stuff over here. She's going to get a massive pile of points pretty soon. And then she's also going to score for this blue gate, which means that I have 3 tokens and I have to discard 2 of them. I guess my coins got to go. This is why I started on beginner level. And it's also why I didn't ask for help. I thought about asking for help from a character, but I knew I'd immediately lose my stuff. So basically, Onatsu totally wrecked me on turn 1 already. Great. So we'll put my sad little lantern token back over here and hope for the best. So on top of that, because she had 2 gates in this tile, Onatsu gets to draw another tile. So she's going to get to score for this one too. And what that's going to mean is because it has a blue gate on it, she gets to make me discard 2 more things, but I only have 1. So there goes my lantern. Thanks, Onatsu. You're a great fellow traveler. All right, so now we're going to pick up 3 more tiles and we're going to start this lovely process again of getting wrecked by Onatsu. Okay, so yikes. Okay, so here's what I'm working with. Ooh, this is rough. Okay, so yet again, she's gonna at least get 1 double because I don't have the resources to get the help that would let me play 2. Okay, so we definitely won't be taking this one because I have to make sure she gets as few as possible. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this tile. I'm taking this one because, so the reason I'm not taking this tile is because I need to score desperately because she's just taking all my stuff. So this one and this one would have to connect to other landmarks in really stunted ways. And I don't really think that that is a great idea. And then these gates I won't get anything out of at this particular time. So I've decided that I want something, I need to score. I need to keep some kind of scoring thing going on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put this tile here to try to open up some pathways. So now I get to score and I get to go from lantern to lantern. And on the way from lantern to lantern, I pass through a red Torii gate. And that means that I'm going to get 2 lantern tokens. 1 for connecting a lantern to a lantern, and then 1 of the same type for passing through a red gate. So now I have 2, which I'm going to promptly lose, but you know, I'm trying. All right, so now Onatsu is gonna get to make her stuff go. So she has another shrine. What that means is that she is now going to get 5 points for shrines. So she's got 4 for getting this, for activating this enclosure tile earlier. And now she gets a 5 for getting 2 tiles in this column. So she can't get more than 4. She's already halfway there. And then this one I can choose. See how it has 2 different landmarks on it? I can choose which column to put it in. So she hasn't scored in either one yet. Let's just go ahead and let her have a lantern, I guess. So again, she's got 2 gates. So she's gonna get to take the vendor, who is one of our little friends, for 4 points because she passed through a red gate. And then I have to lose my 2 lanterns because I have to lose 2 tokens for the blue. So she took everything from me. And then on top of that, once again, because she got a 2-fer, she gets to draw another tile. Fortunately, she can't draw another one. So if I were playing beginner, I wouldn't punish myself, but you know what? I give myself the beginner coins, but let's play the hard rules so you can see how tough this gets. Okay, so she has a bridge on here. So she's gonna put the bridge here. She is going to get a 5-point token for the bridge. And she's gonna get 2 tokens for the gardener at the 4-point level. So basically I have nothing, and Onatsu has 4, 8, 12, 16, 26 points racked up in like two turns. So let's do this again. We'll draw 3 tiles. Okay, so this time it's not gonna be quite as damaging, I suppose, but either way, I'm still gonna lose tokens, which is hard on me. All right, so let's go ahead, however, and kind of like maximize the amount of points I can get. Instead of going for another lantern, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to turn the tile this way, and I'm gonna go for, let's do this. I'm gonna go for a shrine. The reason that I'm doing this is that now that I'm getting a bigger garden, I have a little bit more scoring possibility. So I'm gonna go for my shortest path from shrine to shrine, which is this way, right? So check it out. I'm gonna go through 1, 2, 3 gates, and then the shrine. So that actually scores me some more points, and now I can actually get on the board here. So I'm gonna come down here, and shrine to shrine, that gets me 1 shrine token. Because I passed through a red gate, I get a 2nd shrine token. And because I passed through 2 of these blue Torii gates, then I get to pick 2 tokens of any type that are not a shrine. So they just have to be different from the one that I was connecting. So let's go ahead and grab, I guess it doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna get a couple lanterns because I feel connected to them now. So now I have 4 tokens, which is pretty nice because now Onatsu is gonna play. So she's got 2 lanterns, which is something that maybe I failed to pay attention to. Ugh. So she's gonna come here. She's gonna get 5 points for lanterns. She is also gonna take away 2 of my tokens. So let's just say that she took 2 of the same type, because if I can get to 5, she can quit taking stuff from me. Then she will place another lantern, but it won't do anything. So at least there is that. So that was her turn. It was like less horrible than previously. All right, so let's go ahead and take 3 more. Oh, woof. Okay, so I have to figure out what I'm gonna let her have. I also have to be careful about where I put this, because like you could think, oh, Liz could score again off the shrines, except that if I put this like here, shrine to shrine is just 1 tile. So I need to think about, I'm probably gonna wanna score this lotus instead. And I want to pass through as many gates as I possibly can while getting to the other lotus. Let's do it this way. I like that. Can connect some stuff. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to go from lotus to lotus. So we're going to go along this path because that's the shortest lotus to lotus pathway. When there's 2 landmarks on a tile, you get to choose which one you score, and you can only choose 1. So you have to be careful about the choices you make. So in this case, we're going lotus to lotus. So I get 1 lotus for that. I get 1 lotus for passing through a red gate. And look at that. I passed through 3 Torii gates that are blue, which means I can take 3 tokens that are non-lotus tokens. So what I'm going to do, is I'm going to take 3 of these shrine tokens, and then I'm immediately going to cash them in for a 5er. So now I have 5 of those, because when 2 tokens get taken away from you for a blue Torii, it says that you don't have to give up a 5. And it doesn't say you have to make change in the rules either. So I'm assuming this is a way that I can bank points that Unatsu can't get. So now I have fought for my 5 points. I'm getting my butt kicked, but I feel like I've made progress. So now there's these 2 tiles that sadly we have to give to the evil Lady Unatsu. Okay, let's go ahead, and she's gonna get a score off of this no matter what. So let's put it in the lotus column, and we'll let her have 5 points for lotuses, so I have some more options about where to put things. And then we're gonna have to put this one here, where she won't score, but both of these had red gates. So she is going to get a poet for 4 points, and she's going to get another enclosure for 4 points. So she's just over here racking up the points. At least she didn't take anything away from me, so it's a start. I'll take 3 tiles. Okay, so this is definitely the one that I need to take, because under no circumstances can I allow her to get a double gate. Absolutely not. So now I need to figure out what the shortest pathway will be from landmark to landmark. So because this is a lotus, it is affecting the way that I can play, because, ooh, okay, I'm gonna do something clever here. So to make a shortest pathway, now I don't have a path going from here to here. So the shortest pathway is actually 1, 2, 3, because this would be, well, I could go this way too. No, this is the shortest because it's 1, 2. Okay, so what that means is that my shortest pathway for lotuses passes through 2 Torii. So I get lotus to lotus connection for 1 more lotus. And then I get 2 red Torii for 2 more lotuses, which means that I can cash these out and get a 5er for lotuses. So that was actually a fairly productive turn. Now, if I wanted to spend some of my tokens, I could start doing that to try to get assistance. And I have to decide if I think that that is worth it. I mean, you do get some points for doing it, but it also lays me open to encroachment from our good friend Unatsu. So I have to think about getting help. I think I'll do that next turn to kind of demo that for you. And then we'll keep this short, since this gives you a good demo of how the game plays, and nobody needs to watch me get my butt kicked for another half of this game. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. Since I get to choose when there's 2 different landmarks, I'm gonna be annoying as possible to our buddy Unatsu here. I'm gonna give her 1 stone, since she doesn't score anything for that, and it makes me drop 2 tokens because there's a blue Torii on here, but she can't make me discard these. So, take that. Unatsu, you meanie. Okay, and then here we have this, I can choose between lotus and stone. If I give her stone, she's gonna get another point, like 5-point marker. So I'm gonna give her lotus and just leave her at 3, so she doesn't score any more off of that move. So choosing what to give her helps you have options about scoring. So that's what I would like to do. Now I can draw 3 more tiles. Oop, that was 4, oops. Let's just didn't see that. Okay, so this is actually interesting because there's only 1 with a gate. So the question is, do I want to take it for myself? I think maybe, especially because there aren't any other stones on the board, and I can pass through a gate and have a pretty fat scoring turn. The other question is, do I want to get help first? In order to get help, I would need to spend some of my tokens on basically hiring a friend. So I'm gonna put that off 1 more time because I know I'm gonna have some, I wanna keep my 5s, and I'm gonna have some loose tokens. So we'll play through this turn and then 1 more, and I'll show you how to get some consultation. So I'm gonna take this tile. I'm gonna put it, I'm gonna put it here. I like that. So by putting it there, the shortest path from stone to stone is pretty long. I'm going all the way around, which is great because I passed through a lot of gates all the way around. I will take it. So for going from stone to stone, I get 1 stone token. I'm also passing through 1, 2 of the red gates on the way, so I get 2 more stone tokens. So that's actually pretty lucrative for me. Then I pass through 1, 2, 3, 4 blue Torii on this path from landmark to landmark. So I get to pick 4 tokens that are of a different landmark type. So one of the things that I could try to compete for with Onatsu the Pilgrim, right, is the first to get to 5 on each of a few separate landmarks. So I think that I would like to do that, which means I'm going to take all 4 in something that I don't already have. So I have these stones. I can't take stones because they're blue gates. It has to be different. So let's go ahead and grab, let's make it 4 bridges. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I have some bridges to work with as well. So that's pretty nice. And then these tiles don't have gates on them. So I'm still gonna have to fight it out with Onatsu for stuff, but it could be worse. So let's go ahead and give her a bridge here so that she doesn't get 10 points for the lantern. And then sadly, I do have to give her this stone and she will get 5 points for stone. So if she can get 5 points for the fountains as well, then she's gonna beat me. So she probably will, but we're gonna give it a shot anyway. And then now let's just take these 3. I'm going to show you how to phone a friend basically, and then we'll cut this play off short because I feel like this is showing you how the game works and it's starting to expand beyond what my camera will show. So let's have a look. So we have these choices. Ooh, okay, I don't want to give any of my tokens to her, but I also don't want to give her 4 points either. And I don't want to give her any more anything really. Woof. Okay, so the good news is none of these are fountains, so she can't get those at the moment. Okay, what would be the best for me, though? Even though it could hurt, I think I might take the bridge because I can get so much scoring power off of it by passing through an epic number of gates. So I think what I'm going to do is first, because at the start of the turn, you can get a friend. Ooh, let's do this. Okay. So you have a few friends in this game who can do things for you. Let's have a quick look at them and what they can do. So here's our little friend board, and let's walk through what they can do. So the vendor in a normal multiplayer game says you can discard a tile and draw 2. However, there's a variant rule for solo where you return 1 of the 3 tiles to the bottom of the pile, and then you draw 1 new tile, and it costs 1 token of some type to do that. If you want to play a samurai, and we now can because we're starting to have these like loose tokens we can work with, you place. So this one lets you place a samurai on the table adjacent to a tile. So in the multiplayer game, I would do something like put the samurai here to keep you from taking advantage of a pathway that I had created. But in this game, because I'm playing solo, what you do is you can play the samurai on one of these columns and prevent Onatsu from placing a tile in that column. So if you want to look at these tiles, so like when you draw the tiles, you can actually choose, now that I have some tokens to spend, you can say like, oh, I want to block her. And then if she can't place a tile, it just goes back to the box and she loses it. So you can try to kind of mess with her and block her and then prevent her from scoring points, which is pretty cool. So if you're making a better use of your friends than I have been making, you have some strategic options. Then you also have the poet. So you can place the poet on a landmark. What that does is it basically cancels the landmark to help you create a longer pathway. So over here, if you recall, I had these 2 lotuses that were kind of close together, or here, see I have 2 shrines that are close together? Let's say that I want to score from here to here instead of from here to here for a shrine. What I would do is I would put the poet here on this shrine, and he'd essentially block it off. So then the shortest path, well, this one doesn't actually connect, but then the shortest path from shrine to shrine would be here. Or like for lanterns, I could put the poet here and then go through longer pathways to go from lantern to lantern. So that's what that would do. So that can be pretty useful. The geisha, which is who I'm thinking about using now. So these cost 1 and 1. This is 3 tokens. He's like a higher class friend, I guess. The geisha lets you play 2 tiles and score the second tile. So if I want to take 2 tiles away and only leave 1 for our good friend Onatsu the Pilgrim to play with, then I might hire the geisha to help me out. The gardener lets you place a tile on top of another tile, so if you want to like create a different pathway, then you can. So I think what I'd like to do is get this geisha. I want to have her assist me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay 3 of my tokens. So let's just go ahead and pay. I'm going to try to score for the bridge. So let me think what I want to pay. Because you should also pay the tokens that you can most afford to get rid of. I kind of like to keep my stones safe if I can. I think I'm going to score a ton of bridges too. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Ooh, this is tough. Yeah, I'm going to pay 3 bridges. That might have been, or I can pay 2 bridges. Actually, yes, 2 bridges and 1 stone. There we go. That would be an intelligent choice. You don't have to pay all 3 the same thing. So I've paid to bring our friend the geisha down. So I get 2 points, and I can use her services 1 more time in the game and flip her to 4 points. So this is 2 points for me. And I made a friend. Yay! Okay, so the geisha is going to let me play 2 tiles instead of just 1, and that's something that I really want to do because I want to keep both of these gate tiles away from Onatsu the Pilgrim and keep her from having a big turn. So I'm going to give myself a huge turn and her a slightly smaller one. I can't prevent everything. She's still going to get some points, but it's helpful for me to do this. So why don't we do it this way? I am going to place this tile here, and then I'm going to put this one here. So what I'm going to do is now this bridge, the shortest connection between bridge and bridge goes all the way around like this, and I pass through a whole bunch of gates. So now bridge to bridge is going to be 1 bridge. I also pass through 1, 2, 3 red Torii. So I actually scored 3 more bridges. What that means is I can cash 5 of them out to get a big bridge. Yay! So that was actually pretty cool. And now I also pass through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue Torii on this pathway. So now what I should maybe do is I will take 3 stones for an automatic 5 cash out. And then I'm going to take 2 of these fountains so that I can start working on the fountains to see if I can block Onatsu from getting them. So then Onatsu only gets this 1 tile. She is going to put it here on this lotus column, sadly, which means that her lotus is now worth 10 points. So basically, Onatsu is going to win this game. But now that I have a lot more points, I'm starting to feel like maybe if I made better decisions or set myself up for bigger turns over the course of the game, I could set myself up for a little bit more. And it's also possible that I should have used help a little bit earlier in the game in order to block some of those killer early turns that were completely ripping me up. Because the other turns where she hasn't gotten as many shots at Torii have been a lot better for me. So I feel like this gives you hopefully a really good overview of how the solo game works. I've been finding it really fun. I'm learning how to play a little bit smarter every time I play it, and I've been learning how to use help better and play off of things like enclosures a bit better. So this is a game that definitely has a lot of replay value. You're going to feel a little bit smarter every time you play it and get a little bit more experienced. And Onatsu will kick your butt pretty bad for a while, but I truly believe that eventually I'm going to be able to beat her on expert mode. So I actually think this is a fun solo game if you don't mind getting crushed in terms of your score, especially while you're still on the learning curve. But I really like the kind of peaceful, puzzly nature of the game. I like trying to set myself up for big combo plays. And I really like that as I learn how to use the player powers, like the friend powers, a little bit more intelligently, I've been able to start setting up more good stuff. So like, for example, you can use a gardener to cover up landmarks that are too close to each other to create another really big play. Or if you want to close something off, you can use the gardener for that. You can get rid of tiles that you don't want Onatsu to get by paying the vendor to put something on the bottom of the deck. So there are a lot of different ways to choose to work with what you've got. And I'm really, really growing to appreciate this game. It's grown on me a lot. Like, I thought it was pretty when I first saw it. And it's actually nice as a Kickstarter project because it's basically almost done, which means that, this is a highly developed game. I feel like it's a good bet if you're into games like this for a back because it's you know, it's a game that's already had a lot of investment in it, which makes me more willing to invest myself. And I actually really am coming to like this really nasty solo mode, because as a solo player, I want a challenge, and I feel like this game is really delivering on that front. So I hope that this little partial playthrough was helpful, and that it gives you a sense of how the game plays and whether you like it. And if you are interested, it is currently on Kickstarter. I have included the link in the show notes below. Happy gaming!